Let's turn to our favorite, Senator Bernie Sanders, independent out of Vermont. My favorite, because this man is always for the workers. Senator, good to have you with us tonight.
Good to be with you.
Your thoughts on what Boehner did today?
Well, I think you are absolutely right. He's attempting to hoodwink the American people with this short-term solution, which is totally unsatisfactory. The position of the Democrats has got to be end the government shutdown. Mr. Boehner, have a vote, and if you have a vote, the government will reopen. Number two, we need a one-year extension of the debt limit. The other point that you made, which is very, very important, Ed, is to understand that Obamacare is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what these guys really want. It's not just repealing Obamacare. They have an agenda put together by the Koch brothers, who are worth some $70 billion, and other billionaires, and this is what their agenda is. Their agenda is, over a period of time, end Social Security, privatize Social Security, voucherize Medicare, give seniors an $8,000 check, and when they have cancer, that will last for at least 2 days. Make savage cuts in Medicaid. Ed, what part of their agenda is not simply not raising the minimum wage. They want to eliminate the minimum wage, get government out of that area, no floor on wages that are paid in this country. Yeah. People will work for $3 an hour. Eliminate the Environmental Protection Agency, the Department of Energy, the Department of Education. People think I am kidding. I am not. That is the agenda, and there are hundreds and hundreds of millions dollars behind that agenda.
Senator, Republican Party exposed. The influence of the Koch brothers goes much farther than what I think average Americans were consuming on this subject. I mean, when they write a letter, it says, "Dear Senator," that is an open letter to those who make decisions that this is the way the world's going to turn. I mean, are they running the Republican Party? And ironically, Boehner just steps out the next day and says, okay, we'll extend the debt limit for 6 weeks?
Ed, because of this disastrous Supreme Court decision called Citizens United, people like the Koch brothers have already and will in the future, unless we change that, be able to spend hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars on campaigns. They are setting up, they established, their funding helped establish the Tea Party in the first place. So when they speak, people obviously listen because they can determine the future of the Republican Party.
Paul Ryan wrote in an op-ed recently, yesterday in fact, he says, to break the deadlock, both sides should agree to common sense reforms of the country's entitlement programs. Now, when I read that, it's like the election didn't take place. It's like you better take the reforms that we were pushing, even though the other guy won.
And here's the irony. Paul Ryan himself ran for vice president. He lost by 5 million votes, and now he says, do what I wanted to do during the campaign. And here's the point to understand. What these guys will want to do now is to continue to keep the government shut down unless Obama negotiates cuts in Social Security, the so-called chain CPI, cuts in Medicare, savage cuts in Medicaid. Yeah. That is what their plan is. And you know what? They lost the election for good reasons. That's not what the American people want.
If the Democrats give them this 6-week extension on the debt limit without reopening the government, all it's going to do is play into the narrative that they want to blame President Obama for not being a negotiator. They want to say that the Democrats have spent way too much money. We'll forget about the wars and the tax cuts and rope Americans in a 6-week period of believing that it's all Obama's fault and he is the problem. Now, moving from that, how do you think, Senator, should the liberals and the progressives in this country move forward against this wall of really new obstruction that's out there?
Well, two things. I think we've got to be absolutely strong, and I think Harry Reid deserves a lot of credit for being strong and for being tough. The second thing that we need to do, Ed, is we need to come forward with an agenda that makes sense to the American people. It is clear the American people do not want cuts, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. If you want to deal with Social Security, you know what you do? You lift the cap. Yeah. so that people who are making millions of dollars will start paying their fair share into the Social Security Trust Fund. Then it lasts for another 75 years.
And that pencils out the solvency big time in years to come.
Absolutely. Yeah. So they want to discuss entitlements. Let's discuss lifting the cap. Second thing we need to do is bring forward an agenda which talks about creating millions of jobs, rebuilding our infrastructure, dealing with the crisis of global warming, raising the minimum wage, dealing with pay equity, making college affordable. Right now, the American people are sitting there and they're saying, these people are crazy. They're talking about whether we're going to pay our bills or not. Meanwhile, I don't have a job. So we've got to rally the American people around an agenda that speaks to their needs.
I mean, I think John Boehner tonight proved that he just doesn't give a damn about workers.
Absolutely.
That federal workers are nothing but bargaining chips in a big ideological fight. He has no concern for the middle class, has no concern for of what people are going through right now.
And it's not only the federal workers who are not getting a paycheck. And think about what's that doing to their lives. It's tens of millions of people. It's veterans. It's Head Start kids. It's senior citizens who are on Meals on Wheels. We have got to stand with them, and if we do, I think the American people will be behind us, and we can defeat these guys.
Senator Bernie Sanders, good to have you with us tonight, sir. Thank you so much. Remember to answer tonight's question there at the bottom of the screen. We love it when you